Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Today I'm going to be doing a draw my life, more like write my life because I am not a good drawer, but yeah, let's start. So obviously my life, like everybody else's, my mom and my dad met and got into a relationship, and shortly after that my mom got pregnant. Shortly after my dad found out my mom was pregnant, he decided to leave into a different state, which for most of my life I didn't really understand why he didn't like me and didn't want to be around me. But I soon realized that that was his problem and not mine. Even with my mom being a single teen mom, she managed to graduate high school and go to college, which I am still to this day so proud of her for doing that because I know it couldn't have been easy. For a long time, it was just me and my mom. On a little side note, I'm not going to go into much detail because there are a lot of things in my life that are still very personal to me, so if you don't see a lot of detail, that is why. But after it being my mom and I for just 4 years, my mom met my stepdad. Long story short, my mom and my stepdad met in 3rd grade and knew each other their whole lives. They just did not know they were in love. My mom was with a few other guys before this, but then she met my stepdad. Along with my stepdad came his daughter. She was just born and her name was Callista. And then shortly after, my mom got pregnant with my little sister. This is not the full story, but this is just a shortened down version. My sister was born 5 years after I was. But then, when my little sister was 5, my mom got pregnant with my little brother. And that made me and my little brother 10 years apart, which seems super far apart, but we get along just as well. Between that and by the time I was 12, a lot of stuff happened, but it's just too personal for me to talk about right now. But at 12 years old, my dad called for the very first time. And I found out he lived 3 states away, 20 hours. I also found out that he had 5 kids, not 6, 5. A while after that, I decided to go up to his state and visit him. I went to school there for a few months and lived there for a few months, but long story short, it didn't really work out because I had a bunch of anger towards him that wasn't resolved. To this day, our relationship still isn't completely mended, but we do talk every once in a while. When I was about 12 and 13, I got bullied a lot and I got diagnosed with depression. I didn't really have many friends and I kind of just felt alone. But then the worst year of my life came, and that was when I turned 14. My depression got a lot worse. And around this time, I was diagnosed with anxiety, and I was still getting bullied at school. I also fell into a really bad crowd. Not too long after that, I started drinking, smoking, and doing drugs. I was partying very, very frequently. I was making horrible, horrible choices. One of which included becoming friends with a guy that I never should have trusted. At 14 years old, I was raped. For a long time, I chose to keep it from all of my family and all of my friends. Meanwhile, he was telling people we did it consensually. Eventually, I chose to tell my mom and my grandma. They made me get a test and it came out negative. But a few weeks later on my own, I chose to get another test and it came out positive. I was pregnant. I was obviously hurting inside and I was very confused and upset and had no clue what I was going to do. At the time, I was only in 8th grade, with a baby in my stomach. I chose not to tell the father. But then something really tragic happened. I miscarried my baby. At the time, being only in middle school, I was super confused and I didn't understand a lot about miscarriages. And I didn't know why I miscarried. Obviously, I was sad, but at the same time I was miscarrying, I was still getting bullied in school, and I was still suffering from depression and anxiety. April 14th, 2017, I decided that I couldn't take anymore. I went to our pill cabinet and I decided to take a lot of pills in order to try to kill myself. Thankfully, my mom found me and called 911. After a few days in the hospital, I finally got to see my siblings. My family was very, very heartbroken, and this made me realize what I had done. After a few months of no school and therapy and staying with my grandma, and talking to people I trusted, I started to get better. I chose to get better. And I even started to smile again. I'm not perfect. I still suffer with depression and anxiety. In late 2017, I met the love of my life, Jordan. For a long time, we decided to hide our relationship from our families because he was 3 years older than me. It was still legal, but we didn't think our families would approve. After a few months of dating, I got pregnant at 15 years old, and I was on birth control. After a few weeks of being terrified, I realized that I was going to be an amazing mom and my husband was going to be an amazing dad. We finally decided to tell everyone. Not everybody was supportive, but we made it work. In early, not mid, 2018, we got to see our baby for the first time. It was probably in January or February. It was one of the best days of our life. Seeing her and knowing she was okay made me feel so much better. In January of 2018, my husband proposed to me, which was obviously not my husband at the time, but we were dating for not even a year and he proposed to me. Obviously, I said yes because I love this man more than anything. When he proposed, he was 18 years old and I was 15 years old. We were in love, and we still are, and always will be. In the best month of my entire life, July of 2018, I got married to the love of my life. Two weeks after we got married, we welcomed our little baby girl into this world. It was the best day of my life. From then on, I was a changed person. She made me see love in a whole different way. After we got married, we moved in with my in-laws, and then shortly after that, we got our own house. Shortly after we got our own house, we discovered that I had PCOS, which for those of you that don't know is polycystic ovarian syndrome. I got pregnant at 16 and had a miscarriage, and then I got pregnant at 17 and had a miscarriage. My heart was broken. I will always have a piece of my heart with them in heaven. Even though it upsets me, I know that one day I'll get to meet all three of my babies. But most importantly, through every single thing in my life that I went through, drinking, drugs, rape, pregnancy, at 14, 15, 16, 17, getting a house, getting married, falling in love, giving birth, my childhood. Through all of that, I had God. And He was always there. And I could not have done it without Him. And to this day, I still can't do it without Him. I know this video was not in a lot of detail, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments and I will answer them. We all lived happily ever after. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Mwah!